Welcome to
PIA
PIA
Welcome to PIA
2009.
PIA 2009.
2009.
Back in the PIA 2009.
One of the most popular viewed videos on YouTube that we had from the last PIA was with Bill Booth here when he released the Skyhook system. And so we had to stop by and say hi to Bill again. Hi, Bill.
How you doing?
Doing great. So it looks like it's a busy, successful PIA. We've had a hard time getting you to sit down and talk to us.
It's been pretty busy. We've been talking nonstop. Even though this is the third year in a row, we didn't have a year off because of Barcelona.
No kidding. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So what's new in 2009 over at UPT or for Bill Booth?
Well, not a whole lot. We're just refining the products that we've been working on for a long time. The Skyhook now has 8,000 rigs with it on and probably more than 2 million jumps. So we're considering it a pretty successful system. And it's being licensed to other manufacturers now. And so that's rolling good. We have what we showed you last time for the first time was our Spectra Reserve Ripcord. It's taken 2 years for the FAA to approve it. We got approval to sell it yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
2 years.
So you heard it first here.
Heard it first here. Yeah, that's news. You can now buy the Microline recoil ripcord that can't float and has softer pulls.
So why would I want one? Because it can't float, it has softer pulls. Why else?
It's new and cool. It has softer pulls. And it costs less, as far as we know. I mean, it costs me less. I'll probably charge more, but because it's new and cool. It's a minor improvement. We've done most of the big improvements with the hand-deploy pilot chute, the 3-ring, the Skyhook. I've taken care of the 3 things that bugged me about parachutes since the day I started, which was like 44 years ago. Within the first year, I'd come up with 3 problems that I saw. One was pilot chute hesitations. I didn't like it, so I decided to, instead of reaching behind my back, the last-ditch effort to clear it, I'd do the last-ditch effort first, and I'd just throw the pilot chute out. And then I didn't like the complexity of the cape-wall release and the 6 motions, so I came up with a single-point release. As we got higher performance canopies, we needed higher performance deployment systems, higher performance release systems. And then I always thought, I still have a pilot chute hesitation possibility on my reserve. Why don't I use the malfunction to pull the reserve out? I mean, it's a big pilot chute, it's waiting, and that took me the longest. It took me 20, 30 years to figure out how to do it, you know? And so I finally figured that out about 6 years ago and came out with the Skyhook.
Well, I've heard some pretty incredible stories about the Skyhook. Got one to share?
Well, yeah, we asked a couple of base jumpers a couple of years ago at Cross Keys to do a low breakaway for us, and we were thinking maybe 1,000 feet. It was at a boogie, and they broke away at 100 feet each, right in front of everybody, you know. And now
Holy cow.
That really showed it off. Now you'd never ask anyone to do that, but for base jumpers, 100 feet was high. And then we had one tragic occurrence that really highlighted the value of the Skyhook. 2 jumpers in Texas had a wrap at low altitude. All right, both of them had RSLs. One was the Skyhook, one not. They broke away. The guy with the Skyhook's open at 500 feet, and the other guy burned in. All right, so it really showed its value at that point. Before the Skyhook, we had 2 tandem fatalities where they broke away, and because of the long distance that you have to fall and the heavy weight of the bag, when you break away tandem at low velocity, it can take up to 3 seconds before you have any pull on your shoulders. And it's really hard at low velocity with a kicking and struggling student to haul stable. So tandem masters sometimes tumble on breakaways. And in this case, these 2 cases, the students' feet entangled with the lines. So I developed the Skyhook to get the lines away from these people so fast they couldn't tumble. And our test jumpers started jumping it and never intended to sell it for anything but tandem. But the test jumpers started saying, I got to have that. And once you try it, you got to have it. And the word is spreading, and most people will have something like that within a few years. Magnetic riser covers were introduced 2 years ago also, and they've been very successful. Over 90% of our rigs have Skyhooks and magnetic riser covers now.
If you remember when you introduced the magnetic risers, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's going to erase your videotapes and so forth, and you and I talked about how that was a myth. How many tapes have you had come back to you that have been erased due to those
no videotape problems, no Cypress problems, no Ditter, problems. It will if you take your hotel key and swipe it through your magnetic riser covers. You can't get into your room. That's the only thing I've seen, and that's what it takes. Because all the electronic data storage work on pulsating magnetic fields, and these are a static, magnetic field. So you got to take something and swipe it through. So they've been not a big problem at all.
No, but you remember there was quite a debate about that at the show that year, and I stood there in the booth with you talking about, no way, it's not going to happen. But
every new idea is fought, and not just in skydiving, every place else. And with
that's a good thing. It helps.
It helps, and people question. When I stick my neck out, with the hand-deployed pilot chute and with the three rings, and especially with the skyhook, that was a concept that a lot of people said, that's going to kill everybody. Well, we're a long way into it now, and it seems to be saving lots of lives instead of killing lots of people. So it's kind of like automatic openers. We were against those for experienced jumpers 10 years ago, and now everyone jumps one. So there will be resistance, and there were resistance to magnetic riser covers. But I'll predict the next time you come here, everybody will have them. All right? There's such a good idea that no one will be able to resist. So every manufacturer will complain now, and until they get them, then they'll say they're wonderful. And that's just the way it is. That's competition.
Well, but competition's a good thing. It keeps everybody on their toes, and people complaining about things. I mean, it's great when people come up and say, "Oh, I really love your system," but it's quite something else when they say, Bill, your system's okay, but I think this sucks, because it makes you go back and look at it and maybe find some ways to improve on what you've already done.
Absolutely. That's what's good about these conventions. I got people from all over the world that can come up and say, what about this, what about this? And every so often, they come up with a what about that I went, damn, I haven't thought about that. And then I go back and look at it and I go, whoa, that's a problem, or no big deal. Because there's so many scenarios in skydiving, it's so complicated, and people are pushing the limits. The gear that we make now has got to be much tougher because guys are falling on their backs at every angle at 160 miles an hour. And without free fly friendly stuff, people would be dead. People are speed diving over 300 miles an hour now. You need a rig that stays shut. So with these people, these athletes pushing the sport, it becomes incumbent on the rig manufacturers to make the gear better and better and better to match the needs of the customers. And the customers seem to be ahead of us lots of times. Sometimes we're ahead of them. We give them stuff they don't know that they need yet. And sometimes they come in and say, the stuff you're giving us isn't good enough. You got to make it better. Magnetic riser covers, we've given them to teams that do this, and we've changed the design 3 times now. And finally, these guys are happy. Now, the average skydiver was happy with design number 1, but the guys that are really pushing it, we're design number 3 now.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, Bill, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to everybody out there. Okay. Is there any one last thing you want to share with people watching us out there on the internet?
No, skydive. It's great. It gets the depression out of your bloodstream. So far, and something I've noticed: every company I've talked to here is not in a recession. They're very healthy. So people are skydiving, and I say, keep it up. Don't stop now, or when you start again, there will be no one to make gear for you. That's what the car companies are finding out.
Well, that makes some sense. So go out and buy a jump ticket.
Go out and buy a jump ticket and buy more gear.
Till next time, we'll see you on the Drop Zone.